Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Legends of 40K. I was gonna talk about Imperial Guard, but I decided to talk about a Space Soul Squad Upgrade special character because when I talked about Chaplain Martes, I pretty much said in my opinion he's the best squad upgrade special character in the game so far, and I still believe that. But I'm sure, well not I'm sure, but I would imagine that some of you are wondering, well what about Arjac of the Space Wolves? He's very powerful. And he is, but I don't think he's the best. And I'll go over him and then talk about why I don't think he's the best squad upgrade special character available. So, that being said, that's the special character we're talking about. You're looking at Wolfguard Terminator's kit, all plastic kit, because he doesn't have his own model. You could probably make a pretty cool looking one through that kit though. So first and foremost, Arjac is an elite choice special character. He is a Wolfguard pack squad upgrade special character, meaning one Wolfguard model may be upgraded to Arjac Rockfist. So he's 170 points, plus 170 points to the squad to upgrade one of the models. So at plus 170 points, which is pretty expensive, he is weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength 5, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, 3 attacks, leadership 9, 2+ save. He's unique, he's infantry, he's got a wolf tooth necklace, foe hammer, anvil shield, there we go, Terminator armor, saga of the bear, he has Nation Know No Fear, acute senses, counterattack, Grivenar's champion, and stubborn. So, just to go over the Saga of the Bear really quickly, it's Eternal Warrior. The other stuff is also Space Wolf specific, so I'm not going to go over some of that. I'm only going to go over things specific to Arjac Rockfist. So, Grivenar's champion means that Arjac must allocate his attacks towards an independent character if possible. So if he's able to pick that as a target in assault, he must go after it. So he may re-roll all failed rolls to hit against an enemy with the independent character or monster's creature rule. War Gear, foe hammer. It's a thunder hammer that can be used as a ranged weapon. Range of 6 inches, strength 10 if you want to assault one when it's thrown. Works as a regular thunder hammer when in close combat. Remember his strength of 5 for base. I think it's a little silly. Like I said, 6 inch, strength 10 if you want to assault one. I still think it's silly though, especially considering it uses it's a ruin edge weapon with a built-in teleport device, ensures it will quickly return to his gauntlet ready to be used again. I think that's kind of silly considering the Space Wolves' distrust of teleport technology. Even if they didn't have that mistrust, it just seems a little far-fetched of a device. Not that they wouldn't have the capability, I'm sure they would. It just seems a little too much to me. If it was a Tau type of thing or an Eldar, I would be able to buy it a lot easier. But considering it's not, it's a little too much for my taste. And it's the Anvil Shield. The Anvil Shield is a storm shield that grants Arjac an additional attack in the first round of any assault. So that's everything. Before I talk about how I would utilize them, let's talk about what I normally talk about, which is model and the entry. He has no model, like I said. So, can't really talk about it. You can make a pretty good looking Arjac model with the Wolfguard Terminator kit. Also, I don't know everything that comes in that kit, but you could also probably utilize some Warhammer Fantasy Dwarf bits for the anvil. This in the artwork in the book for his entry, he has a little anvil on top of his Terminator armor. So you may be able to find something dwarven from the fantasy bit range that would fit that. I don't remember if it's in the kit, the plastic kit. But if it is, even better. But if not, or if you just want to add more stuff, you could probably utilize the dwarven range of bits from Warhammer Fantasy. As far as his entry goes, he's expensive, costing HQ level point cost. But he's basically a 5th HQ. Remember, Space Wolves can take 4 HQs. And one of the HQ entries, you have Wolf Lord, and then you have Wolfguard Battle Leader, which basically has a similar stat line to Wolfguard of Arjac stature, because he has 2 moons. He's basically an elite version of the Wolfguard Battle Leader. So if you take 4 HQs and you take him, he's basically a 5th HQ. So his point costs, you know, aren't too bad. I guess when you look at it like that. He, as far as what he has, I really wouldn't change too much, other than taking away his ability to throw the hammer. I would rather take Foe Hammer and Anvil Shield and say as a pair they count as giving him an additional attack for every 2 close counter weapons. Always. I think that would be a lot better and not as silly. Remember, that's just my opinion. You can, of course, feel differently if you do. Other than that, I think he's fine as is. He's basically a mini Wolfguard Battle Leader. Well, not mini, he's a full-blown Wolfguard Battle Leader. But in elite status, and basically a named chapter champion. So, not too shabby there. How would I utilize him? Well, remember, Wolf Guards have the ability for the Wolf Guard packs to break down and be attached to other squads in the army. Arjac is no exception. At least to me, he would be no exception. Some people may feel differently. I personally, somebody said, hey look, I'm going to break down my Wolf Guard, or I'm breaking down the Wolf Guard and Arjac's going to go attach to this Grey Hunter or this Bloodclaw squad. I would have no problem, as long as he's going to be attached. That's the pack feeder's rule. As long as he's attached to an appropriate squad, I would have no problem. So, that being said, that's a Wolf Guard thing. You can, of course, keep Wolf Guard together as a squad, basically a veteran squad. I personally would keep him in a squad of other Terminators. He's going to draw fire once your opponent understands what he can do and where he is. You might as well have him draw fire to a squad that can survive at the best, which are Terminators. I would always utilize him in a transport and a Crusader, personally. And from there, well, that's not necessary just to use a Crusader, I would. From there, I would have a 5-man squad with him in it and just target enemy vehicles, like battle tanks, walkers even, things like of that nature. Vehicles, monsters, creatures, or enemy independent characters, enemy HQs. Multi-moon models. That's all I would go after. I would go after other Space Marine HQs, Chaos Space Marine HQs, Tyranid monsters creatures, particularly the one with Synapse. But any Tyranid monsters creature. I would go after Wraith Lords. I would go after Command Squad of the Imperial Guard. I would go after Ogren of the Imperial Guard if they're there. I would go after Armored Sentinels, regular Sentinels. Lehman Russes. I would go after Exorcists. I would go after Land Raiders. You name it. Stuff like that. I wouldn't really utilize him to go after troops or big hordes in this nature. But I'll go after the big heavy stuff. He's basically your HQ killer, your monsters creature killer, your heavy vehicle killer. So that's what I would do. Throw his little silly hammer at them and then assault into it. Hopefully get a wound from the hammer. Then you withstand the blows. If it's with the 5-man Terminator squad, all equipped similarly with storm shields and something else, hopefully they can weather the blows pretty well If they also got Thunder Hammers, then you assault back for lots of hits, both with his Strength 10 hammer and the other hammers, and go to town that way. Squads of that nature, even without him, are good for that role, and he just adds to it. However, if I were so inclined to break the squad down and make him a pack leader, I personally would attach him to Blood Claws. Because Blood Claws get a lot of attacks on the charge. And basically, that helps dealing with Horde. What squads like the Blood Claws, especially when they feel them in their bigger sizes, aren't that good at, is dealing with bigger things. Because while they have lots of attacks, most of them will probably be very ineffective or useless depending on what you're going against that's got a high toughness or whatever. And that's basically losing a lot of models to get those attacks in there that can work. Arjac, on the other hand, is really good at dealing with those big creatures, but even though he has a total of, on the charge, 5 attacks at strength 10, pretty much, because with a good invuln save, albeit at initiative 1, he's not that good at Horde. He can be dragged down by the Horde. So you kind of blend the two together. With the Crusader, you put him with a big Blood Claw squad. Remember, he counts as 2 models in the Land Raiders, so a 14-man strong is a bit out of 15 is what you can do, and still put him in a Crusader. If you do that, you can equip the Blood Claws. However, I personally would give 1 Blood Claw, and you can't give 2 because he's not 15 strong. So 1 Blood Claw, I would give a Flamer at this point. Unless you're really worried about vehicles or really want to blow up a transport to get there, then maybe a Melted Gun, though not really necessary because of Arjac. So I'll give him a Flamer, especially considering their ballistic skill is 3 for Blood Claws. And it's free. Then you can go with the Power Weapon or Power Fist on the Blood Claw, I don't really care. It's up to you. But you have all these attacks. So if you have independent character, a multi-one model type of bit, with a squad with like a Horde squad, so you have like an Orc War Boss with a bunch of boys, for example, you can assault into that. Chances are with your assault move and their pile-in move before things happen, hopefully Arjac can be able to hopefully Arjac will be able to utilize his attacks at the independent character. You want that, depending on where he is and how you move Arjac and everything. So you have the Blood Claws tear into the squad, and then Arjac go after the independent character. Well, and or you, depending on, let's say, a monster's creature is close to a squad, if you can charge into multiple enemies, do it in such a way so Arjac can get into contact with the independent character. That way you have the Blood Claws hopefully tear into the squad you charge as well, and have Arjac tear into the monster's creature. And did I say independent character? Well, I meant monster's creature. And do some damage that way. That's the 2 ways in which I'll utilize them personally. But again, I'm not a Spacesuit player, so I don't know if there is some other magical way to use them. But that's how I would do it. No nonsense, quick and dirty, get it done. Go after, he's really good at going, he's the basically a named chapter champion. Have him go after those HQs, those multiple models, those monstrous creatures. Anyways, that's pretty much it for Arjac. While he is cool and very powerful, I still think Lamartes is the better of the 2 if you want to look at it that way, because he does give benefits to his squad, and that's a big thing for me. It's not only being big and badass yourself, but giving benefits to your squad. And Lamartes has some cool rules himself. That's why I personally, plus he can move faster without a transport, and that's why I personally would prefer Lamartes over Arjac. But Arjac is a very good squad upgrade special character. Anyways, that's pretty much it. So until next time, take it easy.